So I would like to introduce you to... I'm not going to translate it. Half the time I look up these names as a translation, it's always something offensive or something stupid. So if you want to translate it yourself, you can... Comment section might block it, might not. I don't really know. Player here in question, this is a very expensive account. It's also, like you saw before, pretty long running. It's a 20-ish, 29,000-ish battle account, roughly, based on the math on that. And he's got, like, you know, premium, or no, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5. Event vehicle, you know, he's got basically up to top tier in pretty much every nation, looks like, except for, no, I think that's almost every nation, except for Germany, looks like, based on that, because of Radkampf, at least on this. No, he has 2A6, so, yeah, pretty long-running account, not, like, the greatest record in the world, but, if you search for China, in the current one, if you go by, oh, I don't know, Army, because I can't type this, Al-Khalid, he's a 5-1. Now, granted, like, the Khalid, I've been told, is, like, busted because it's MB2 2000 but like up armored, so who knows. But you'll see in the first, I don't know, basically minute here, you'll see how kind of obvious this is, because I believe, so I've looked at his other teammates in other replays. I don't think his teammates are cheating. However, I think they know this player is cheating, because our friend Morton up here, or the 6'5" whatever number guy over here, is, I think, complicit in knowing what this guy is going to do, because our buddy here is going to shoot 2 smoke rounds, 2 or 3 smoke rounds, but it's going to completely obscure the whole lane here. But you'll see, so normally when you shoot an MG at a target, you kind of strafe around, you kind of shoot side to side, knowing, like, trying to find where a target is. This guy doesn't do that. He machine guns straight at 2 guys, knowing they're there through this giant smoke cloud, has no idea they're there. And you can see he shoots there, shoots that guy there, shoots that guy there, and then straight center mass shot. So that right there is a big good. Now, granted, okay, so right here, see him pointing at the guy? There's a building right here. If you know this part on Severus, there's that yellow building that's on the outside of the river right here. You notice he starts shooting at him. Thing, and I'll slow it down. Starts shooting. Oh, shoot. Can't see him at all. And the edge of the building is right there. You see him shooting at him center mass, like right where it is. Then waits, and then shoots him. And then waits and then steal. So you notice that there, that the guy came to a stop, so his, whatever tracker he's using, he corrected his aim back and forth. So, and then you see him staring directly at people through all the smoke layer here. Again, shoots machine gun, then shoots again. You wouldn't shoot your machine gun without a marker or a chevron straight at a guy unless you knew he was there. And you know, he was aiming in a direction, never aimed over here at all. So, this is a extremely expensive account that he's either a person that has been a long time. So I've said it before. So a lot of these accounts that are super expensive, that are long running, at least that I've seen recently, a lot of these guys are, they've been doing it forever. So look at here, has no idea that guy's there. The scout didn't start until just now, and he was center mass shooting at the guy straight away. So that's 5 kills within basically 2 minutes of him starting this game, where he had 0 frame of reference. He's shooting at that guy around the corner. He's scouted, granted, but he was around the corner. He couldn't shoot him until just now. Now, and granted, he didn't do that. So you can see the way he did. He's staring directly at people through terrain. So granted, he's invisible now, but he couldn't see that guy at all until just now, and he was staring at him. And he's shifting, right? You can see him shifting back and forth, aiming center mass, adjusting his aim center mass every time he shifted. And he was shifting back and forth there a good several feet. And so this is where I'm getting at with these guys. This is what I'm going to base on this, based on the record, based on what it looks like. I'm going to guess that an account like this, based on the way the current record is and how he's performing, I would guess this is probably an account that got brute forced into and is no longer in the original owner's hand, or got sold. So you don't generally have a record like this, because I looked at this, granted, I haven't looked at this player, granted the patches came out, so all this player has been playing recently is the Al-Khalid, and every replay he says recently is suspicious. I looked at another one of his replays, and he was not as obvious as this replay is right here, but in his other ones, he's staring at people directly through terrain, looking right at them, you know, doing all the things that are very obvious to someone who is openly cheating. But like I said earlier, based on records that I'm looking at him for, he's definitely doing something that is an indication of someone that is not the original owner, just based on appearance. Because when you know someone is on an account, so anyone that plays a certain way, you know the way they play. So, for instance, I have friends who have their accounts and they play a certain way. If you're a long-running player like I am, you go to certain parts of the map, you play a certain way, you have your patterns, you have your habits, you play a certain way. Based on just the way the record looks, I would bet that this is not the original owner, which is sad because this is a extremely expensive account, several $1,000 account with event vehicles and premiums and all this other stuff, especially time spent. And whenever this count gets reported and gone, it's banned. It's also part of Unite, which I didn't show that earlier. It's a Chinese squadron that has actually a record of playing in tournaments. So that's another thing. So the worst part of this is this could essentially be a squadron that is complicit in a person cheating in their squadron. That is not the case for every squadron, like how it was with my argument with Skill Issue recently. I am very understandable that there are certain people in certain squadrons, and not every squadron member or leadership may know about a player in question. Okay, I get that. That's not like hard to understand. So in that regard, please remember that this is a account that has been openly compromised and or sold or whatever, and we're now going to deal with the fact that these accounts are just going to run into the wall. Now, I've said it before, I really do think that the cheating problem is not as big as other games. There obviously are a lot of cheaters, at least in a sense of the way I'm talking about it. So the way I would think about it in this game is that I would bet that there are, of the, I would say, average player base count per day is about 100,000. Granted, it spikes and goes down and blah, blah, blah. The average, I would say, is about 100,000. I would say less than 1,000 people or 2,000 people in this game cheat, which in that scope would be about a 1% population. The thing you're not remembering is that the reason why I say it's so low is that there are potentially 10, 12, 20,000 accounts that are cheater accounts because these 1,000 players own, like, several accounts. Like, I've seen a couple people I've talked to say they own anywhere from 3 to like 20 accounts they spread their time between, which is kind of insane when you think about it, considering that they get their account banned, they just move to the next one. It's just why that more severe measures need to be taken into consideration. Unfortunately, methods like hardware ID banning and stuff like that aren't perfect. Neither is IP banning because a lot of these guys play on VPNs. So there's a method to how this would work, and that they could do to, you know, make it be better. The problem is it relies on Gaijin actually doing a lot more for their effort. Now, the good thing, as I will end on, is that as of this past week, so it's like I'm recording this the 14th of September. As of this past week, there was a ban wave that went through that wasn't announced. So my theory with this, and of course he gets a nuke because he totally deserves a nuke. My theory with this is that we're getting intermittent ban waves, which is a good thing because that would mean that Gaijin is actually doing stuff between waves and then making the list at the end of the month, which would be very good. So it means if we get more intermittent ban waves and they don't announce it, that actually is a thing that security should be doing, and then, you know, just not announcing why the players got banned. So I'm going to leave this here. As always, if you have a player in question, leave it following the pinned comment below. Also to note, I just found out recently, the session ID that you see that's like numbers and letters actually does work. So if you don't know just the URL and you want to just use the session ID, that actually works. All I have to do now is just tag that session ID into the URL, and it's perfectly fine. So, as always, I hope you have a good rest of your morning, day, evening, or night, and have a good one.